All right, so we're out here in Nelsonville, New York, and I'm trying to find my next fan of the week, but I'm having trouble finding anyone. The Cincinnati Reds were in Athens this evening for their annual Winter Caravan Tour. Now, this kicked off day one of their East Tour. Some of the familiar faces, broadcaster Jeff Brantley, the Cowboy, as well as general manager Dick Williams, and right beside me is Reds Hall of Famer and World Series champion Eric Davis. So, Eric, what's it like to get out and talk to the people with the baseball season right around the corner? Yeah, Sean, I'm outside the Athens County Board of Elections, as you can see, and today they weren't open for voting, but they were yesterday, and there was a huge bump in early voters. And get this, in Ohio, there were 11,000 more votes this year in the presidential election than the 2012 presidential election. That's right, Chelsea. The U.S. government is paying Rocky Brands more than $38 million to make combat boots for the military. But despite these new contracts, Rocky Brands will not be creating any new jobs in the area. Now, as you can see, the snow has picked up once again, but you can be sure that these road crews will be out, making sure everything is all clear. Reporting live for Newswatch at noon, I'm Justin Holbrook. For more details, we go to Justin Holbrook, who's live in the newsroom. Justin, what's the latest?
Mackenzie, I spoke with Alex's mom a few hours ago, and she said her son had 2 surgeries, several procedures, and is on a breathing tube. But the good news is that he's in stable condition and is expected to be woken up later tonight. Alex was making a snack in his kitchen when he was shot through the window at about 2 a.m. He was shot with a buckshot shotgun, but did not sustain any injuries to his organs or brain, and was flown from his Athens home to the St. Mary's Hospital Intensive Care Unit in Huntington, West Virginia, where he is now. His mother, Terry Jean, spoke to me about what she felt after hearing her son had been shot.
I was numb, and I was angry, and scared and worried. But you know, most of all, I think that all of a sudden you revert back to them being a little kid, and all you want to do is protect them and make sure that nothing bad happens, and you can't because everybody around you is taking care of them for you, and all you can do is watch them.
Now, what Terry wants most of all is for a dialogue to start in the community to figure out if anyone knows any information that might help the police catch the shooter.
Now that Alex is safe and he's going to be recovering, I really want to find out who did this to my son and why they did it. And this is an attempted murder, and I want that person brought to justice.
According to Terry, Alex had been talking to those on the scene after he was shot and said he had no idea who would want to hurt him. For a little more background on Alex, he graduated from Alexander High School and is the owner of the Thunder Bunny Tattoo Parlor located on West Dempson Avenue. He's also the father to a 6-year-old and is a well-liked and well-respected member in the Athens community, according to his mom. Now, if you have any information, you can call the Athens Police at 740-592-6606. Reporting live in the newsroom for WOUB, I'm Justin Holbrook. Fox's Pizza Den is a national pizza chain based out of Murraysville, Pennsylvania, with more than 250 locations across the U.S. 3 of those can be found in Meigs County, Ohio, with the restaurant in Pomeroy and Tupper's Plains owned by Matt Stewart, while his dad Bill owns the restaurant in Rutland. Matt, who is 33 years old, realized he wanted to do something different after he graduated from Hocking College in 2003 with an associate's degree in physical therapy. For him, different meant working for his dad, who brought the Fox's Pizza franchise to Rutland in 2001 and opened the Pomeroy location in 2005.
I wanted more. I wanted more for myself, and eventually I knew that I wanted more for my family, and the only way to do that was to branch off and do something on my own.
He got that chance on January 1st of 2008 when he bought the business from his dad, and in less than 4 years, he wanted more. So in March of 2012, he took a risk by purchasing land down the road from the old location. The new location is situated right by the Ohio River, in the same spot where the Bletner family owned and operated an automobile company for more than 150 years, with Matt fully embracing that history.
You know, I like to think that this place is somewhere that people can come and get a little taste of history in this town and this lot, and knowing that people, you know, someone else is taking this beautiful spot right here and making a livelihood, making it their livelihood, and that's what I'm doing.
And his risk paid off. Fox's Pizza Den on the River opened on July 30th, 2012, with the restaurant setting the second highest franchise record for sales in 1 week.
Whenever guys win the Super Bowl and they're talking about going to Disney World and stuff, I'm like trying to, you know, look into their mind and feel how they feel. But I honestly can say that I felt a little taste of that. I mean, I felt like I'd won a Super Bowl.
But the path to success was far from easy for Matt, who was arrested for assault and criminal damaging in 1997.
I made some bad decisions in my life. was going down a path I wasn't very, I knew was not me, and I was ashamed of myself. I'd made some bad choices, and I had to go through some times where I really had to figure out who I wanted to be and what I wanted to be.
One person who helped him figure out who he wanted to be was his wife Kelsey, who also grew up in Meigs County. She met Matt the same month he broke ground at the new location after he hired her to be a waitress, and less than a year later, they were married. Because Kelsey still works there and has many more responsibilities, it's difficult for her and Matt to separate their work life from their marriage.
You always hear people say, don't bring your work home with you. Don't, you have to have a separation between the two. You can't talk about work all the time when you're home. But that's just not the case with us, because this is our home. Tuppers Plains is our home, and then our home is our home. They're all our home, because they're all our babies. We say we have 4 kids.
Their other 2 children are 2-year-old Emmeline May Stewart and Kimber Michelle Stewart, who was born just over a month ago. Balancing time between 2 daughters and 2 stores is hard, but as Matt would tell you, it's made possible by his employees. One of those employees is Matt's general manager, Adam Thomas, who Matt has known since high school, and Adam knows just how close the employees are.
I mean, we're all great friends and family, and we talk outside of work, and it makes it, that's what makes this place so good, is everybody cares about this place, everybody cares about each other, and that's what makes this place go.
About 2.5 years ago, Adam got an offer to work at Wild Horse Cafe in Pomeroy, where he used to be a server and manager.
I came to Matt and I said, I mean, yes, it's quite a bit more money, but it's not totally about the money. Yeah, I want to make money for my family. I would be glad to stay here for less money, because I love this place. And and every six months or so, Matt and I talk, and he's like, "Are you happy?" So I want to know, and I'm like, I'm 100% into. I'm in. I love this place, and I just want to keep growing.
Growing is exactly what Matt had in mind when he bought the restaurant in Tuppers Plains in 2014. Although it put a strain on his marriage at the time, Kelsey was able to find a silver lining.
If we survived 2 businesses and 2 kids in the first 4 years, I think we're good.
Now that Matt's built a solid foundation for his marriage, he can focus on his goal for the restaurants.
I'd love to be able to think that I can sit right here and tell you for the next 35 years, I'm going to keep, everybody happy and filled up with Fox's Pizza in this county. But, I can't promise that. But obviously, I've been instilled some pretty strong principles and values in my life, and I'm going to keep it going as long as I possibly can.
And after all of the hurdles he's overcome, Matt finally has what he's been working for his whole life, a steady future with his family by his side. For more than 20 years, Nathan Kitts worked in the healthcare field at the Holzer Medical Center in Jackson. But after all those years, he never lost his passion for barbecue, which led to the creation of Rowdy Smokehouse.
You get to a certain point in your life when you think, it's either now or never. I've always said I wanted to try something different, wanted to do something different, and it just got to the point where I finally had that opportunity to jump, so to speak. And so I took that leap of faith, and it just became one of those things that you kind of get consumed by, and you just run with it.
He's been running with it for more than 3 years now, with Rowdy's, named after his 4-year-old son, having something in common with Nathan's old job.
It's still service. Healthcare is a service industry, and so is the restaurant business. So as long as you take care of your patients or your customers, then you're always going to have business that way.
Taking care of his customers is what's led to the restaurant thriving, and has allowed Nathan to step away from cooking and focus on his ultimate goal.
The catering business, I think, is where I really want to focus. I wouldn't mind if the restaurant becomes an advertisement for my huge catering company eventually, is what I'd like to say.
And his reason for loving catering so much?
It's fun to do. You get to get out, meet new people, go see new places. I've catered in so many areas now that I didn't even know existed, that I'm fully confident I could do this another 15 years and I still would see new places.
He's able to focus on expanding the catering side of the business because of the people he's hired along the way.
I don't hire on experience. I hire more on their personalities. I can meet them, and within 5 minutes can tell if they're going to fit in here. And you can just sense when somebody is good with people and such. has a good heart, so to speak. You can tell, and I'll take those people even when I don't need someone, because eventually we'll find a place for them.
When he's not working on the restaurant or spending time with family, Nathan spends his time working as a board member on Jackson's homeless committee and offers food to people even if they don't have the money to pay for it.
I know it's just one meal, it's one day, but you know, to let people know that we're here, you know, we're here to help if they need something, that's the most rewarding thing.
And only one question remains after making the leap to food service.
Would I go into food business again? Only if it was barbecue.
It's time to kick off the first week of the playoffs, and we've got a lot of ground to cover. I'm your host, Justin Holbrook. We started with 35 teams at the beginning of the season, and after 10 weeks, 8 teams qualified for this year's playoffs. But it doesn't matter how they got here. The slate has been wiped clean, and what matters now is winning one game at a time to keep the season alive. Tonight was historic for both Zane Trace and River Valley. This was Zane Trace's first time ever hosting a playoff game, and River Valley made their first ever playoff appearance. And Blaine Caraher was out in Chillicothe to see it all go down. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Justin Holbrook. Just a few hours ago, there was a shocking announcement from the Ohio High School Athletic Association. It announced that the Dublin Kaufman football team has been placed on probation through June of 2018 due to recruiting violations. A release from the association said head coach Mark Crabtree met with an 8th grader and his father about the football program, which is a violation of recruiting rules. Crabtree will also be suspended for the team's first 2 playoff games, and right now the team is seated 5th in the Division I Region 3 playoffs.
Danny, we're honestly not used to seeing this at all. He's had a great regular season, but tonight, I'm not sure what it was. Maybe it was the cold weather, but he missed a lot of open receivers, which is really uncharacteristic of him. And add that on top of the fact that Shelby has a really good defense, and it was a perfect storm for an early playoff outing, and that's exactly what happened to Bloom Carroll.
So what do you think is going to be the biggest key for the boys to turn this thing around?
Well, I mentioned that Aaron Davis scores a lot of the points for the team. They just need other people to step up. He's been really good for the Buckeyes, but no one else seems to score, and there's a lot of turnovers. So they need to clean up turnovers, and they also have to stop teams from scoring as much, because over 70 points 7 times this year, it's not good, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Week 1 is finally here. The action started last night when Crooksville hosted Maysville, and tonight we cover Galley Academy versus Meigs. But right now, we're in the Plains for Logan taking on the Bulldogs, and Logan has won the last 12 times in a row. It's all up next.
On Gridiron Glory!
Former Middletown standout Kyle Schwarber is coming back to where it all began. Cubs manager Joe Madden said the rookie will get a chance to play 3 games here in Cincinnati. The same place where Schwarber won the Futures Game MVP award, right here at Great American Ballpark.